So I went on ahead and asked AI about the nation of Edom. As you can see, these Edomites, are they Europeans today? Now, there's camp doctrine, and that's exactly what it is, camp doctrine that suggests that Edomites are Europeans. Well, the doctrine says that, but the Bible doesn't support that. From Genesis to Revelation, you just won't see that anywhere. You can see it superimposed into it, but it's not like naturally, organically between Genesis and Revelation. So the answer that it gave, as you can see, is no. No. There is no historical or genealogical basis for identifying modern Europeans as a group with ancient Edomites, okay? It's just not possible. It just hit me right now. Like you actually will barely see Israelite camps, or really not even, well, religious people ignore genealogy completely, but camps attempt to, dive into it, but you would never see them go into the Bible to discuss the sons of Yafet. You will never see that. But I digress. But so it goes on, and you can see this here, what it provided. The key point is this: where the Edomites equals Europeans idea comes from. This is where it comes from, the idea, and that's all it is an idea. Okay? You can put an idea into a book, that doesn't make the idea true. A lot of Israelite camps will reference this Rome is Edom book, but it's based off of an idea. This is where the idea comes from. So the claim isn't found in any mainstream biblical scholarship, Jewish tradition, or historical genealogy. It largely originates from 19th to 20th century pseudo historical movements, particularly British Israelism and later Christian identity ideology. So the Edomite is European is a Christian ideology. And we know Christianity is buffoonery, okay? Which try to construct alternative racial genealogies for biblical peoples. Some rabbinic and medieval Jewish sources did use Edom as a symbolic, polemical name for Rome, symbolically. That's just like the doctrine that does another camp. It's a camp slash Christian doctrine of America being Babylon. Like you can do so symbolically, but prophetically, realistically, Babylon is Babylon, America is America. Okay? That was a theological metaphor. Again, a metaphor. Sodom and Gomorrah, America, Babylon being all the same thing is a metaphor. It's not literally all the same thing. It's a metaphor about Rome as a political religious power, okay? Not a literal claim of biological descent. Let me do this. It is not a biological claim of biological descent. It's just based from a Christian ideology. So, another thing, I'm gonna get to my next question. This is when we actually, well, I'm trying to get to the Bible, but Claude is going to take me in another direction. So I asked in Genesis 25 and 25, when Esau is said to be red all over like a hairy garment, which precepts, because it's through precepts we get understanding, show the actual meaning of this redness? Is the redness skin color or something else? So I'm citing the Bible in my question. Okay, this is the basis from this video from here on out. So what does Claude do? Claude sends me to basically a lexicon. A lexicon is not A precept. I know a lot of religious people conflate the two. My question is founded upon precepts. Yes, this is good information, but this can't and does not answer my question. From this, it comes to the conclusion. It says, was it skin color? Most likely, it describes either a ruddy or reddish complexion or reddish body hair. It's getting it from a lexicon, not precepts, though. And this is what camps do. This is what religions do. But we know it's through the precepts we get understanding. So my next question is founded upon precepts. I said, Psalms 119 and 104 directly says, understanding is gained from precepts. I want to see how smart you are. I want to see if you're able to see the answer to the question I asked in the context of Genesis 25 and 25, Exodus 36 and 19, and Isaiah 63 from the top. So I already know the answer to the question. I'm trying to test AI to see if AI is going to get it using precepts, not a concordance. Hopefully this is clear. So this is the three precepts, okay? So Genesis 25 and 25. Esau comes out Admani, which means red and hairy. And the what does it say? And the chapter explicitly resolves red into the name Edom. Yes, it does. Edom, aka Esau. Okay. We have here the two instances in Exodus. But I asked about 36 and 19. They both say the same thing. This is about the tabernacle covering. This is true. A covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red. Okay. These ram skins is hairy. The last time I checked, a ram is hairy. They're being dyed red or made red. This is your hairy garment. That's red. Well, Esau at the time of birth is red and hairy. He was red all over like a hairy garment. This is the connection. We're using precepts. We're not using a concordance. We're not using YouTube videos. Let's continue. The tie-in is in Isaiah 63 from the top. Who is this coming from Edom? Well, Esau and Edom is the same thing. We just saw that. Esau, Edom, okay? Says it right here. You're coming from Edom with dyed garments. Well, we see the word dyed here or made red. That's how this is tied into Edom. Wasn't Edom red all over like a hairy garment? We're using precepts. I already know the answer to this, right? I'm testing AI. It says with dyed garments from Basra. Basra is the land of Esau. You're red in your apparel. The answer given in the text is that red is blood. Because the last time I checked, blood is the color red. Just like the last time I checked, a ram is hairy. Last time I checked, Esau was red all over like a hairy garment. All this means is that Esau is covered in damn blood. His skin wasn't dyed red like a goddamn skin complexion issue. He's just covered in blood. I remember a DMX album cover. DMX is a Negro. He was covered in blood on the album cover. So I guess now he's a new race, a new nationality. Well, I guess you could have to say race. What you're covered in doesn't dictate your race. If somebody's just covered in white paint, it doesn't mean that their race changed. You're just covered in white paint. This has nothing to do with a redneck and Dukes of Hazzard and none of that silly YouTube doctrine bullshit. That's bullshit. It's not in the precepts. This is in the precepts. You have a child that's just covered in blood. Just like a garment was dyed because it was covered in red. Just like this apparel, these clothing, is covered in red, which is blood, because blood is red. Duh. What you're covered in doesn't dictate your skin color. A banana is covered in the yellow peel, but when you peel it back, the banana is white. It might have some brown spots on it. This is just kindergarten. The connective thread across all three isn't melanin. It is not melanin. It is not skin color. It is that red in each case is something applied to a surface, just like paint, just like a banana peel. It is not a racial trait. A dye on ram skins doesn't mean there's a new race of ram. Blood on garments. It's stained or dyed red because blood is red. The pattern following the drip. Follow the drip, follow the drip. Genesis 25, red like a hairy garment, reads naturally as describing Esau's appearance as if covered. He's covered in blood. He was just born. The simile itself compares him to a garment, not a race. You got to be a fool dumb dummy to think that this is talking about the first ever, so-called white. Y'all love saying white man. I hate it because it sounds stupid. This is the first ever white man. That's his skin color. No, the hell it ain't. So my final question in this, I said, whose garments are being dyed red with what and from who? This is the icing on the cake. You have to use Isaiah 63 because this is the tying in chapter right here. It says, whose garments? Well, we know that this is God's garments. This is God's apparel. It says the Lord himself. His garments, the linen white garments, if you will. Dyed with what? Well, blood. You have blood on the linen garments. Whose blood? The blood is from the people God is treading down in judgment. Edom / the land of Basra. Because he hates the nation of Esau. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. But this is not a skin color, nothing. God's garments dyed red with the blood of Edom. Just like Edom was covered in blood at the time of birth. Now, somebody might say, man, but if they was twins born at the same time, they would both be covered in blood. You're absolutely right. However, that gives rise to part 2. You see, this is going to be an Ezekiel connection. Ezekiel references Jacob's birth. And that there was a certain, I'm going to say, method of care taken with one twin that wasn't taken with the other twin. One twin was washed off. See, camps will never read Ezekiel. Camps will say, man, it's because one twin looked like everybody else. It's the first ever white man. Hibbly, hibbly, hibbly. So in my part 2, I'm going to use Claude to show why one twin is covered in blood and the other one wasn't. So that's all I have for now, as it is written, and I'm out.